2 in 5 Canadians are expected to be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. Here in BC, the numbers show that you or someone you know and love will be impacted by some form of cancer. The good news is scientists and researchers are working around the clock on life-saving treatments and innovations. And one organization at the forefront of cancer research is the BC Cancer Foundation. Oliver Zillman, with the Associate Vice President of Development, joins us in studio now. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
How many people will be diagnosed with cancer in BC this year?
Last year, over 34,000 British Columbians were diagnosed with a new case of cancer. It's really the healthcare challenge of our time. We know it's very prevalent. In fact, we know that about 1 in 2 British Columbians can expect a cancer diagnosis in their lifetime. So it's got a huge impact, and of course, it affects more than just patients. It affects their loved ones and their family members.
Wow, 1 in 2. Can you tell me about the work the BC Cancer Foundation does to assist people who are living with cancer?
Our foundation has been partnered with BC Cancer for decades. We've really been at the forefront of supporting their research. This research has been ongoing for many years. Really what we're trying to do is bring new treatments to cancer diagnoses. Cancer is not one type of disease, it's many different types of disease, and we need many different types of treatment to combat cancer. So we've been partnered with BC Cancer to support their research. We also purchase technology and equipment, radiation and imaging equipment. Practically speaking, these are the things that can make our cancer system more efficient, increase capacity, and more precise, making sure we really target cancer. Ultimately, the foundation and its work with BC Cancer, any treatment in British Columbia has been touched by philanthropy and by donors, and we're very proud of that.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned some of the equipment, and you work for development at the BC Cancer Foundation. What kind of developments have been made when it comes to cancer treatment?
Well, on the technology side, we're thrilled to this spring welcome a new piece of technology. It's called our next generation PET-CT. Of course, when you have a cancer diagnosis, you are often scanned to determine the type of cancer you have, the form, the structure. We know that these scans can take a lot of time. On our current machines, they take about 40 minutes. This new technology, which is a first in Canada and second in North America, will reduce a 40-minute scan to 2 minutes. So we really want to increase capacity in our system. We know that it's needed. We know these new cancer diagnoses are coming. Besides being more efficient, it's also more precise. We know it's about 20 times more precise than our existing machines that we have in use. So this will be a real game changer for us, and it's very much funded by philanthropy, and we're very grateful for those that have been able to support it so far.
Okay. Can you tell me about some of the experts and scientists that you work alongside and how their work assists in innovation?
Of course. I mean, we're privileged in British Columbia, I would say, to have world-leading experts in cancer and cancer care. We have a few different examples of that. We know in younger people, when I say younger, about 40 and under, that cancer is on the rise, especially for young women and breast cancer. So we have a triple-negative breast cancer, which is an aggressive subtype of cancer in younger women. We know through experts such as Dr. Sam at Paricio that they've studied this particular form of cancer to determine the circulating DNA in your bloodstream. It's called ctDNA. Sam, Dr. Aparicio and his team have been looking at this and have determined that they can actually prevent and screen for this particular DNA much earlier. This means we can get to that cancer before it becomes aggressive and is less treatable. And this is really important. I mean, again, with a rise in cancers, particularly in younger people, younger women, we need to have treatments sooner, and we need to be able to treat sooner. So this is one example.
Okay, you mentioned some of the philanthropy. How can people at home support the BC Cancer Foundation, and what kind of funding is needed in this space?
As I mentioned, the technology is super critical, and the research is equally critical. Without the research, we can't offer the new treatments. We can't create new standards of care. What is required is funding things like clinical trials that actually bring these new treatments into British Columbia and test them. We want to see what's working for people. The foundation, of course, raises funds, and we're very grateful to our donor and donor community for doing this with us. We want to make sure that these funds come into BC Cancer and really support the work of our clinicians and scientists.
Okay. On World Cancer Day, what would you like people to know?
I'd like them to know that they're not alone. They're really not alone in their cancer journey. If they have a new diagnosis or if they're supporting someone who has a diagnosis, we have exceptional people that are here to look after you. We have centers across the province, and we have more coming. We know that if you're going to enter our cancer care system, we're going to give you every option and opportunity to treat it, be that a standard of care, or be that a clinical trial, or, for example, these new machines that are coming and the opportunity to be scanned on one of them or to be treated on one of them. Know that you're not alone. Know that we're here for you, and we're ready to see you through this journey.
Okay, lots of really important information. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.